Season 1, Episode 4, Zombieland Saga. All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Zombieland Saga, Season 1, Episode 4. All right, so we've got ourselves our girls who have now started to come together a little bit more. We have some confirmation that I and Junko and a lot of them do in fact have their memories.
Right.
For some reason, Sakura was the one that actually was a little bit
forgetful.
Yeah.
But they had their gorilla, not really competition, performance. Yeah, their gorilla performance.
They got a new fan.
They got a new fan.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, that cop does continue showing up. So he might be considered a fan. Maybe.
I think he's an antagonistic fan at the very least. A heckler, if you will.
It's a complicated relationship.
Exactly.
But they listened to Kotaro and they went away when the cop showed up. So, yeah.
So now let's go and start the reaction. Yeah,
exactly.
So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got ourselves a performance that finally went pretty well. Now, to be fair, they kind of cheesed it a little bit with their dermal patches that they applied.
Yep. And I'm all for that because, let's face it, they haven't really been practicing much. Nope. They've been very lackadaisical about everything. And, this is sort of ramshackly put together. So I don't doubt that things like this would happen, and it's sort of a way to say, yes, they're idols, but they're also zombies, and this isn't going to necessarily go the way that it would have to go in real life in order for them to do well, because where's the fun in that?
Right.
Yeah, and then, of course, it all went horribly wrong afterwards.
Yeah. I love that we had set up this new character of the contact or the director or whoever that was with the woman for the pharmaceutical company.
Yep.
Who then Kotaro ends up giving the that little moment there. It was hilarious. And then we see her then after a long stressful day. Of course, she's the last person to hit the hot springs because she's dutiful and she cares for her employees and it's awesome. But then she gets traumatized.
I'm glad she didn't have a heart attack.
She might have.
Oh,
you never know. She's catatonic right now. She needs to go to the hospital. But the scenes in which they showed how all the girls basically would bump into her and have these little moments, I loved that Lily's was straight out of The Shining. Just the
Yep.
It's so good. Instead of being two girls, it's one. But anyways, that was fantastic, but then also Tai Yamada with the upside down crab walk, and it's what's the horror movie that's?
I believe that's The Exorcist. I'm not sure.
Okay. But yeah, that was so good.
Excellent.
And then the head underneath the pad, the dermal patch. That was fantastic.
And they brought up the whole idea of, hey, we're zombies, so breathing shouldn't really be a problem, so we'll just be underwater and it'll be fine. But nope.
Nope. She rolled a nat 1 on her stealth check.
Exactly.
Bonk,
Head
bonk,
just
bonk.
right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I loved that Junko ended up basically just carrying her by her legs as they were running. It's little things like that where it's because you can have so much humor come in just from the fact that they are zombies, not just from the predicament of zombies being idols, but zombies.
Just that they're zombies.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really happy that they did that. That was wonderful. But okay, between the two, which do you prefer personally as highlights from this episode?
Oh,
Kotaro turning the chin, and the blush, or Saki with the grin.
Those are both the best parts, probably. I mean, there are a couple other parts that are really good. I really liked the horror sequence just in general. It was better than both of those. But as for an individual little moment, Yeah, I kind of like the Saki grin. Like the Saki grin is really like it was really powerful, I would say. Yeah,
because it's that. I think the reason why I like her so much is because her energy promises lots of crazy hijinks, right?
Sure.
Because if they were to be doing things the way that they should have been, just practicing and all of that stuff, one, we wouldn't have gotten those moments of connection like at the foot bath, spot, and that's important. But also,
important.
We wouldn't get the scare scene and all of that stuff. There are just so many things that can happen because they're zombies and because they're not playing by the rules, right?
Right.
So Kotaro, if you want to be their manager, you might have to be like watching them 24/7.
Yeah, and then the moment where he had to turn her head because they were walking right past the window there, that was fantastic. But it kind of was a little bit almost too real in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
They had that little moment where Kotaro was all like, "Yeah, idols have a short shelf life, but you guys don't age. You will never die. So
I can work you around the clock."
Yep,
literally. Yeah, it's like I am not too familiar with the whole like concept of like idols and things like that, but I've heard things.
Yeah, I've learned two things since starting this show because just things have been brought up, and then this discussion has ended up having things go in certain directions. And the main one is that idols generate really, really obsessive culture surrounding how pure and perfect they are.
Right.
And it's really like toxic. It's disgusting. Like there's a joke that apparently was born out of this whole culture, and it's now just a meme in some ways, but it was a thing that people genuinely believed, like at certain points, like people that are really obsessed with idols in this regard, and that's that they just don't poop. Like you know that meme, right?
Oh yeah,
she doesn't poop, or what have you.
Yeah,
yeah, it's basically that level of stupidity.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the things. And then the other part of it is that it's like extremely judgmental in terms of like making sure you create the perfect image. So
which this whole thing of them being seen without their makeup and what a disaster that is. Like, yes, they're zombies, so there is a very understandable reason why, you don't want that to happen, because seeing a disembodied head, after a long day at work,
a catatonic, mess of a
executive. Like that's normal.
That's very normal.
That's a normal response and reaction, right? But the idea of no, just like little birds in a cage, you must never be seen anywhere when you're not in your
perfect state.
And
in some ways, not even be seen anywhere else.
Sure.
You're always performing.
Yeah, you come out to do your performance and then you go back into your
hole.
Your hole. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit too real.
Right. And I don't know to what degree or whatever a lot of this stuff is.
Well, it's an industry, so there'll be a variant levels of it.
And Kotaro, as hilarious as he is still an absolute taskmaster. So, that's even though he ended up like still working when he said he was going to be like seeing the sights and everything, there is that whole concept of like, oh yeah, making him money. Like, is this
I mean, yeah, he is kind of a mock on like what a pimp would be. Like
basically.
That's basically what he is.
Like straight up.
Like
yeah. And it makes for a hilarious character design and set of monologues and everything, but it's also one of those things of like, ooh,
okay, yeah, we can separate reality from fiction here, but it's like, we can kind of tell what he's based on when it comes to reality. That's fun. But his lines again this episode were just
excellent,
just king. They were beautiful.
I'm so glad the concept of budget was brought up, because since he's the manager, like I really want characters like that to go into the boring nitty-gritty of, no, we need money. Like that kind of makes this whole process work. Right. And because we are doing this in a very unconventional way, because this is sort of a from the ground up endeavor,
Sure.
That's something we don't really have. So, yes, we are not going to do some album or anything like that because how would we pay the studio, you know? Like,
yeah, forget how would we get in there to record.
Right.
Just the ability to get that kind of hardware and tech and stuff. That's a lot of money.
exactly. Like, the van that they have is probably the most expensive piece of equipment.
I mean, the makeup might end up being also
Yeah,
more
that's true.
expensive.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is probably the really disgusting part, is that he's probably like, I only have to give them makeup when they're performing.
Sure.
Because every other time I can just keep them at the house, at the mansion,
Exactly.
and get away with not actually buying that much makeup.
Oh, and I'm sure he figures out ways to, pinch pennies wherever possible. But, like...
Because they don't need food.
Nope, they don't.
Well, no. Tai Yamada might need some...
yes, to keep her occupied.
Yes, and he keeps having it in his pocket. It's hilarious that it's always there.
It's wonderful. I think Tai, as far as, like... Well, okay, no, she's probably the only real gag character. Like...
Yeah.
Like, in the truest sense of, like, the gag word. But, yeah, I love every time she's just on screen doing something and not given full focus necessarily. It could be in the background, but that just makes it, like a nice hidden extra surprise.
I have to know, was that intentional? Gag, character.
Maybe. No, not at all.
I just thought about it and it was like messing me up for the last like 10 seconds. I'm like, wait a minute. Was that just genius right there? Like that pun level of just, she's a gag character. I'm like,
I love that, like, in this show, it goes for some of the more serious elements of, like, yes, we do need money. We need all these things in order to make this work and, et cetera. Don't ever, let people find out that you're zombies because there are real consequences when that happens, And
then it's such a joke in other ways.
But then it's such a joke because Tai is still on the stage every single time. Like, I would understand if it was something where it's like, okay, they just sort of keep her around and she's sort of entertainment behind the scenes,
Well, but yeah.
But
there's hope that she'll wake up,
Yeah.
Eventually. Right. Mm-hmm. It's probably a big, like, season 2 twist, is when Tai Yamada, like, wakes up and it's revealed that, like, she has the most beautiful voice of them all.
Oh, yeah, sings like an angel.
Right. Very articulate and, like, speaks with, like, a very, like, specific accent. And then when they're all like, wow, I actually kind of missed,
No, they go to the hot springs, and it's not the CEO lady or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's Tai that comes in and just starts reading like War and Peace or something.
Oh my god! But we got a nickname for Lily. She's now Shrimpy. It's
Indeed,
just the way it is now.
Yep.
Saki has now exerted her influence as leader by making her first kind of mistake call, her first bad call.
Yes,
which
indeed.
is important. We got to have a little bit of a promise from, I believe that was Ai Mizuno. She is going to basically stick with the group and, let them know when they're starting to lose it.
Right.
But, compared to the rest of them, she is the one that would know what an idol group would look like. Mm-hmm. And she has a lot of info that she hasn't shared yet in that regard that, shows she's still a little bit upset about the fact that she has to kind of deal with all of this right now. Because we don't know entirely if she wants to go back, but there is this element there where it's like, okay, that is something that she had. Now she doesn't have it, At some point she's going to have to process that. And it'll be interesting to see if when Sakura remembers who she was,
if that changes things.
If that changes things at all. Yeah.
Yep. But also, good on you, Saki, for giving into the idea that you do need to practice. Like, even if it took some time, and it was shown and it was off screen, right, when the practice actually happened,
right,
because that is kind of important. And I loved her whole rebellious thing of, no, we're gonna go see the sights and do something else.
Glass is over there. He's getting his
exactly, like, right. But that is something that you'll need to do in order to actually put on the song and dance. So
in order to have that money so that you can go and have your fun little adventures and stuff. Although she's probably the kind of person that would just kind of steal the stuff that she needs, you know?
Basically.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Plays fast and loose. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. You can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yeah. Battle Lines, sci-fi novel that I wrote. If you haven't heard of it before, you should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon. The link is in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.